Hello, and welcome to the next episode of It's Your Time to Shine, a podcast about being a mom in a modern world. My name is Juspreet Kaur, and with me is my friend Lisa Vora. Hi, Lisa.
I thought we were starting the podcast with a story and not an intro. Why are you changing things?
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm Lisa. Hi.
Oh my gosh.
I just wanted to call it out. That's all.
You gave me a heart palpitation because I thought you were like, no, I thought you were, I was like, what? What did I do wrong? What's going on?
Oh, nothing. It's Wednesday, which means I am with Allie up until this moment, until my in-laws come. So it's been Allie mommy morning.
Aw, sounds like so much fun.
I know. Do I usually sound more rested? It's physically the most exhausting day.
I've never really had that, like, someone coming to take over for my kids' feelings. So tell me more about that. What's that like?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you, it feels great. I feel very liberated right now.
And if I ever had it, I bet I would just fall asleep. What do you do? How do you stay awake?
I might. I'm sitting in one of her closets right now until I can figure out where to record.
You've once said that you're following in my footsteps since I had kids earlier. And so, like, you know, my kids are a little bit older and you're like coming behind me.
Yeah.
But you didn't realize how accurate that was. I record in my daughter's closet all the time.
I really am like you when I grew up.
So funny. So this guy asked me the most interesting question at work yesterday, and I want to ask you about this as well.
Okay.
Because we were having conversation, we were meeting about something, and he asked me this question. He said, when did you start to realize that time was moving really fast? And I was like, oh.
I can tell you exact date.
Yeah, tell me. Okay.
February 12th, 1998. You want to know why?
February 12th, 1998. Oh, that's a very specific date. Okay, what's your birthday? So tell me why.
Because I turned 21. And until 21, the world moved slowly. And after 21, acceleration because I wasn't counting down to anything.
Oh, really? 'Cause
I know, the lush mom over here.
that's so funny. Oh, okay. So that's so interesting. I said 32, and he was asking me why. And I said, well, I think it's because when I was 32, I had my third child at that point. And I felt like once I had my third, well, one, you know, you have three kids and they're so close together, life is really hectic. But I also felt like I just couldn't keep up, you know, like so time was moving really fast. And this young man doesn't have any kids. He is married and he's 34. And he said, all of a sudden, I just feel like there isn't enough time. And so I was thinking about that and I was like, it's so interesting. So maybe it has nothing to do with having kids. Because you're saying 21, I'm saying 32.
I was kidding about 21, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have a different answer?
Honestly, I think that there's a mid part where things go, like it goes by real slow when you're a kid. And then, yeah, no, I guess it does accelerate. I'm just thinking, I thought I had a wise answer. There was a wise answer somewhere inside. It just didn't come out verbally.
Okay. Yeah.
Because right now, I feel like until Allie was born, time was going by pretty fast from like maybe early 30s. Right? Until Allie. But then from birth to like 3, it was really slow. And now ever since Allie turned 3, which has been over a year, it's been going by fast again. And now I'm like, oh my God, Allie, please don't grow up. Please. She's not even allowed to say anything mature because that's a sign of growth. So,
you're like no longer sending her to preschool. I don't want you to learn anything. I don't want you to see anything. I just want you to be frozen in time where you are right now.
I do. We just had kindergarten orientation 2 days ago, and I like bawled. I'm such... Aww. And I looked around. I was like, isn't there another mom crying? And then I was like, anyway. But it was just me because
that is so cute.
They let, you know, like you're in orientation, and then the kids separate. And lucky for us, she has a good friend there already. We have good friends there and their daughter. So the two of them held hands and walked off with the dragon because they're the Colvin Run Dragons.
Okay.
Anyway, so she's walking off and I'm watching her. And now she's already little for her age. Now add to the fact that she's one of the youngest people in class, kids in class.
Yeah.
So she's tiny. There's some kids who are like almost a year older than her who are, you know, on average, bigger than average. So imagine how much bigger they look, right?
Yeah,
Next to Allie. Anyway, I just thought I got teary-eyed, and I instantly regretted wearing eyeliner because I never really wear it, and I don't know why I did. But I used to be like, oh, birth, oh my God, I can't wait for her to talk. But now I'm like, oh my God, she's going to like have opinions and say things, and am I ready for that? I don't know, I can't explain it. Not like opinions about like her mac and cheese. Do you know what I mean? Like, you
Right.
know what I mean because you have 3 kids with opinions, like
Yeah.
real opinion, life opinions. Like they have an understanding of a global understanding of how things work and ask questions or whatever understanding they have to build from there, you know, and ask questions.
You know, like our very first podcast, I told the story about when Pavneet went to kindergarten.
I remembered that.
It wasn't orientation, like what you're experiencing, but
Right.
it was like the very first day of kindergarten, and I cried because she never like waved or
She
she just
didn't.
like ran off, right? And then we heard firsthand from my mom that I did the same thing when I was in kindergarten. And remember, I said bye, Shorty, to my mom.
Yes.
And so I think, like, yes, I totally hear you and I feel you. And I've had the feeling that you're having, like, at least 3 times. And then I also, like, thinking back and, like, knowing that my mom, I get some comfort in knowing that my mom went through it and that you're going through it because
Right.
you know that, like, your kids are going to get through it and we're going to get through it. And there's other wonderful goodness on the other side of it.
Yeah, and you're not alone. Except that moment I felt alone because no one else was crying. But you're
Yeah.
not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. And remember when your mom, what your mom said when you and your sister went to school, that she felt it, but she didn't show it. So you were probably in a room with other moms that were like your mom.
No, you're right. I didn't think about that. And I wear my emotions on my sleeves. I mean, if I'm annoyed,
Right.
people know it. If I'm happy, people know it, you know? So
Yeah, totally. But it's kind of that reminder that that we know we all have different reactions. And with me having the kids that I have and the personalities are so different,
yeah.
sometimes I often say, like, oh, they're growing up so fast. Like, I wish they could just stay, like, little and cute. And
Right.
But really, you don't want them to stay little and cute.
No, of course not.
You want them to grow and progress and have those ideas.
No, I want them to grow while I stay the same age. I mean, is that too much to ask
That
for?
would be awesome. I would totally love to just be 37 for the rest of my life. 37 was a good year.
It was. That's the year for me I gave birth to Allie. And remember, 37's always been my number.
Yes, yes. And I never had a number, so I just took your number.
Well, at least you take something from me.
But you know, it's like so cool because as they grow older and they start talking about different things and start thinking in a different way, I'm actually working with Hargun on a project right now. And let me tell you, like, how it happened. A lot of life events from a parenting perspective end up happening after field trips. I don't know why, but that has happened.
Noted.
Last year, I told you and our listeners about how after a field trip, we went to Starbucks and there was a homeless man there. Or actually, we don't know if he was homeless. It was a person who was asking for donations, or asking for money. And I bought him a coffee. And the story was all about, and then he had a phone. And the story at that time was about how Pavneet was really upset that he was asking for money and had a phone. And it was kind of like a teachable moment because we talked about that. Mm-hmm. Well, last week I went on a field trip with Hargun, and this time was a 5th grade field trip. And we had a really fun day. And on the field trip, they had this rule that only bring like disposable items so that you can throw them away. They didn't want... There was no place for kids to keep like their lunch boxes afterwards. And so they were like, paper bag and bring everything that can be thrown away. Well, she had some food that she didn't finish. She had like a drink that was unopened and then popcorn and crackers and cheese. And since I was with her, we put it into my backpack because the teacher was like, you have to throw everything away. Sorry if you couldn't finish it, but you're not allowed to take it inside. So I had like a backpack purse and I put the stuff in my backpack. And she was like, oh, Mama, we're so lucky. You have a backpack. And I was like, don't tell everyone I'm sneaking food into this like museum where there's like no food allowed,
Everyone gives you their food.
So we come back and on the way home, we're at a traffic light and there was an older man. He had a sign up and he said, please help me. And he was walking in between the cars. I always get nervous when people walk in between the cars like that because when the light turns green,
Yeah.
everyone's going to go, And I asked her, I said, how'd go the leftover things from your lunch? Because none of it had been opened. I was like, do you want to give that to him? And she was like, yes, yes, yes. So she like rolled down her window and she grabbed the stuff and she handed it to him. And he said, thank you, God bless you. And then, we drove. And we normally have at our Gurdwara, every weekend we'll make these little homeless packs, and everyone from the Sangat or the congregation can grab like 3 or 4 of them and keep them in your car. You just keep them in the front seat of your car. So if you see someone in need, you can give it to them,
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it has like water and like a granola bar and fruit snacks, things that don't really get ruined in hot, cold weather, and they're not perishable. So I had run out of those, and but we had given him this, and she came home and she told her dad, like, oh, I didn't open my Izzy, which is like a soda, and we don't have a lot of like disposable food in our house. I guess I feel like I should say side note. That's why I gave our child soda, because they were like, it has to be something you can throw away. And I'm very like water bottle. I'm the water bottle mom, But I'm like, she can't throw the water, like she can't, I'm not going to let her take something. We don't have disposable water bottles. But anyway, so she took that, and then she came home and she was like, it makes me so sad when I see homeless people, but it makes me so happy to be able to help them.
Aw, that's beautiful.
I know. I was like, yeah, I feel the same way.
Wow.
And then she's still thinking about it, and she goes, we should think of a way to build houses for them and like just give people houses.
Aw.
So we started talking about it, and I said, there is a way to build houses very inefficiently. There's people all over the country that are working on this problem, and there's actually a place in Austin that can 3D print concrete blocks and then you can assemble a house in 24 hours. So it takes 1 day or 24 hours to print and then assemble this house.
Wow.
And so we started talking about it, and I was like, the real problem is like, where do you put the houses? And she was like, oh, we can just find a park and put the houses in a park. And then I said, and then you have like security, and like, is it safe for all of these people who have been displaced to live together, or should they be part of society? And we started talking about all these different avenues of like, what is it like? Is it good to be with other people who have experienced homelessness because they'll understand you? Or is it bad because people will start to stereotype if you live in that neighborhood?
So not only is she like thinking about doing, she wants to do good, but you're helping her with her critical thinking skills right there.
Yeah. And it makes you think like, okay, so she's 10 and she can have that conversation, and I can actually, we can really think about it. Whereas like when you're in, getting ready for kindergarten, there's a limit in how much you can think about and talk about that way. So I'm just I'm just so grateful that we have these opportunities to be able to talk and connect. Yeah. And I even told her like we should keep on working on this project and think of ways that we can do, we can do good and make an impact on our community. Aww. And she's all in. She doesn't think like, no, but the government regulations are so strict, or land is so expensive, or property tax. She doesn't have those barriers.
Right.
So it's really nice.
And sometimes we need that mind, actually. We need the not so tainted mind.
Totally. Yeah.
To offer solutions, because we get so quick on, well, we can't. That's it. I love that. No, but you know what? It's like you could have, as a mom, obviously talked to her about it and been like, oh, wow, oh, yeah, you feel this way. Well, this is what people do. We can help. You could have ended it there, but you didn't. You took it to the next level. You realized how curious and interested she is. So you're doing what you can to foster that. And I love that as a parent, because those are the moments where I think there's a difference between being a good mom and an awesome mom. And I do think we use awesome mom very loosely, but I can never pinpoint moments to show the difference. And that right there is a difference. And you're an awesome mom.
Aw, thank you. You can put the certificate in the mail for me.
I'll
frame it myself. Don't worry about the frame. I will frame it myself.
Awesome Mom Award from Lisa Vora. What does that even mean?
No, that's so sweet. No, thank you. And you're right. I think all moms are awesome because...
So you're a better person than me. I don't.
No, you know what? Because I saw the dilation chart reminder that they show you during childbirthing class.
Yes, that part is very awesome. You're right.
And I'm like, that is BS. Like the fact that we can dilate to 10 inches, no, we need to stop that. How come we haven't evolved past that? Like babies should be able to orb. You just think about them, hold your hands out, and they appear.
That's true. And I give all moms cred for that. I give cred for a lot. I'm just saying that there are still moms that are moms. They're okay moms. They're great moms. They're good moms. They're awesome moms. They fall under all categories.
Yeah. Just like the colors of the rainbow.
Yes, exactly.
So are God's people.
And I'm not shy to say, and I'm not going to lie, there are some moms who aren't that great. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. And I've had a pet I've had as I have been so diligently trying to advance my own understanding of how I can impact the world from a inclusion perspective, I have really started to develop a pet peeve for people who enable activities that are not inclusive. It like really bugs me. And I can give you an example if you want one.
Yeah.
There are some moms who are out there who are like, let me use a hypothetical example because I think everyone will be able to relate to it and I'm not like calling anyone out. So once you get into elementary school, there's this idea of like a room parent. And some schools are still like have the gender bias and they'll call it like being a room mom because usually it's moms that do it.
Oh my God, Samir hates that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it bugs me too. But
He says, why isn't it room dad? We have room mom too, which I happen to be the room mom, but yeah.
yeah, and I call it room parent and they should call it room parent, I think.
They should. You're right.
And I've been the room parent like willingly for my first two kids a lot. And then reluctantly for my younger two because
I hate the job, by the way.
you get to a point where you're like, all this stuff is just like you're creating work for no reason. You know, you can just make it easier. If that position didn't exist, there would be less work. But because the position exists, they create work for it, you know?
Yeah, justification.
Yeah, exactly. But then I've also had like Hudgun once said like, oh, the teacher said we need room parents. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And she's like, you should be the room mom. And I'm like, should I though? And she's like, yes, because you did it for Didi. And I'm like, oh, okay, I did it for Didi. Fine.
Oh my God, I'm never doing it again. No, I actually decided because of this experience that I am not getting involved. I think that Allie's life in school and my life should just be, they don't need to collide.
Okay, say perfect. I told you everyone can relate to this. So this is a hypothetical example. When there is a room mom, there's different spectrums of room moms, right? There's some it's different personalities, some that are like go-getter, scrapbooking people that are out there. There's some that are like, hey, it's about the experience and we don't have to take 4,000 pictures and we don't need to like scrapbook everything. And so there's like all these different styles. And I think that's wonderful. My little hypothetical example is that when there is one room mom out there who's like making everything like a wedding, like Valentine's Day party, it's going to be like a wedding. And I'm going to spend as much money as I would spend on like my child's birthday party for this.
Yeah.
They make it really difficult. One, they make it difficult for the other room parents that are in other classes because all of the parents and kids talk to one another, right? And if you have like, if you booked Elvis for your kid's Valentine's Day party and somebody else didn't, those kids and parents feel bad.
Wow, Elvis.
Okay, he's dead. That was an example. But also like when you're doing that, you're making it very difficult for someone else to ever be in that role again.
Right, because the bar has been set so high.
I won't even say it's been set high because high makes it sound like it's amazing. It's just been set far. And you're like, what about if the next person is a working mom and they don't have time to like do all of the things that you did? Like it should just be the purpose, in my opinion, for any of those little events should be help the teacher so the teacher doesn't have to spend time on it, get the job done, and let it be fun.
See, I 100% agree, and that's who I am. I am the bare minimum mom. I am. Like, all I'm really in charge. Like, right now, I'm soliciting them for money for Teachers Appreciation Week. Mm-hmm. So I get, like, a few moms. So what are we doing? And I first email. I make it very easy. Hey, we're getting a gift card. Okay, gift cards are easy. That's what they want, and it makes my life easier.
Yeah.
Everyone is happy.
Yeah.
So, and rather than all of us arguing, like, oh, I think we should get her a butterfly. Oh, I think we should get her a dress. Like, I just, like, we're doing gift card.
Yeah.
And, of course, I get emails. What are we getting? What are we getting? So I started being a bit of a smart ass. I'm sorry. And so I just started writing people back. I wouldn't even call it smart ass. I was being nice.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, we're going to get a gift card. And I'm like, with extra sparkles. That's it. That's all. Like, that's kind of cute.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be smart. But apparently some didn't take it. Like, I was just asking so I know, like, how much money I should give. And I was like, then why didn't you just ask the question? How much money should I give? Idiot. None of these moms listen to this. Anyway, but yeah, people are one person's like, oh, are we just getting a gift card? Shouldn't we? And in my head, I was like, no, they prefer a gift card. But I wanted to say, you be the room mom if you have such great ideas. Really.
Well, not just that. Sometimes people think like that if they put a lot of thought into the gift, that it's more thoughtful. And it is for the person who's giving the gift, but it's not for the person who's receiving the gift.
Yeah, I've talked to a teacher straight. Please give us a gift card. Please. We need the money.
Yeah.
We need it.
That's what I would think too.
These are preschool teachers. They do not make that much money.
Yeah.
So, and these parents have a lot of money. I mean, for Christmas, each of them I was able to collect. I think they each got about $700-800. That's a lot.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's like, I wouldn't even know what to do with that kind of cash if it was a gift.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And then once you get to like elementary school, those teachers really don't make any money and they have hardly any benefits. I have two standard choices. I always have extra gift cards at my house. These are my two standard choices for my kids, Target or Starbucks. Because Target, you can buy anything. You can buy food and you can buy supplies and you can buy clothes. And then Starbucks, if they're the odd one out that doesn't want Starbucks, which most people in America, like other than me, love Starbucks, you know someone else who you have to give a gift to, and then you can give them Starbucks. It's like its own form of currency.
Unless it's $800. Then it's like, really? You just got me an $800 Starbucks.
Okay, I have never gotten a Starbucks gift card more than $25.
Well, you know what it is? We're still in private school mode, and these parents are pretty generous.
Yeah.
So, and that's awesome. That part's awesome. But just
$700 at Target would be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what I did. I probably just got him Visa, but
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah, but my point is I'm not, just after this year and dealing with these emails, and I don't even have that much. I really don't. It's not that big of a responsibility, but not doing it again.
You're not going to be like me and be the 5th grade room mom and then have to plan out a 5th grade graduation party.
No, not me.
That was the epitome of, if anybody ever signs me up for that again, I'm going to break glass into pieces myself, small enough to swallow, but big enough to leave a mark.
I bet you will. I really wish there was like another category, and I'm all in. The happy hour mom. That would be me. No kids, just moms and dads. The happy hour parent. That would be me. I'd be really good at it. Really good.
I think you're in the wrong genre. You need to be fundraising for a nonprofit organization.
I should.
They would love you. You just like organize events, get people to come in, loosen them up a little bit. They feel good. Oh
yeah, I definitely do that.
And you're like, okay. And these $700-800 that you're raising for preschool teachers, like, let's redirect that to the homelessness problem.
Yeah, true.
We need to divert attention. No, in all seriousness, though, after reading about the homelessness thing, and like I started doing a little bit of research on it, because I really do want my kids to understand that if they have these thoughts, they have these feelings or instincts, or they're inspired by something, you really do need to do research and see what's happening out in the world, like how are other communities combating it, and try to do like a lot of research and look at it from different angles, just to get your mind kind of working.
That's so important. Oh my God. Because that's part of the problem with like when you're completely just like in our politics too. Like when you're too idealistic, you got to see things from all points of view before like, hey, not just straight up free, whatever. I'm just giving an example when I say free college for all. And that doesn't mean that I don't agree with it. I'm just saying before committing to an opinion, see how it's going to be done.
Right. And how has it been implemented in the past? Because we have a lot to learn from others, right, in terms of what they've done. So I started looking into it, and I read a little bit about the children in Paradise, California, which is where the Camp Fire, which was a big wildfire last October, took place. And so many of the students are living in tents. They are doing their homework by flashlight. There was a middle school that completely burned down, so they relocated into an old abandoned hardware store. And they were, instead of desks, using shelves as their desks.
Oh, wow.
And it's like completely heartbreaking to see what people are out there dealing with, and it's like, it's not just being displaced and not having a home and not having access to like food and water and electricity, but it's also like what's normal for them? How do they get back on their feet, so to speak, with being
Right.
able to do homework and getting to the bus and being able to even get to school. And so I've been reading a lot about that. I should actually share the article. I can share it on our Facebook site because it was a Washington Post article and it was really well written. And it's not trying to solve any problems, just telling you what all the problems are. And one of the things that really struck out to me in the vein of this idea of building small, affordable housing was that in the trailers, so they have like, if you lose your home, they have small trailers set up. And many of them don't have electricity. And they're saying like in that small space, having 3-4 people living, there's a lot more fights and a lot more teenagers are just like leaving home because they're not getting along with their parents. And it just made me think like no judgment, right, on whether anybody's a good parent or a good child or whatever. Think about what teenagers go through anyway. I have a teenager now and how sometimes they need their own space. And if you don't physically have space, what kind of problems it can create, And I think these are the things that we need as parents to be thinking about, and as citizens we need to be thinking about. And by sharing with our children, I'm hoping they'll be able to like think about problems in quotes in a totally different way.
Yeah, and reading that article is perspective that you didn't think about before. So it's good to get that viewpoint.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of like an interesting output of just driving by this homeless man who was begging for food and giving him, part of her lunch. Like it turned into like an idea of something else. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna remind her to keep working on it.
I'm gonna tell you one little funny story because it's the same, but it ends differently. But I once did that like 15 years ago. I remember when I first started at VOA. I went to go get McDonald's. I mean, I had McDonald's or whatever, so I had like 6 nuggets, and then I didn't feel like having 2. And I remember like, well, I don't want to throw this away. Homeless man comes by, and then, oh, do you have any money, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I can give him my nuggets. So I was like, here's some food. And he looked at me. He's like, you ain't got no money? What you giving me these nuggets for?
That's funny.
That scarred me a little bit.
That's so funny.
Just a light story about that. So I was like, all right. I guess you don't want the nuggets.
I like it. Okay, let me ask you a serious question, Lisa. Hot dogs, should they be grilled or can they be boiled?
They taste better grilled, definitely, but they can be boiled, sure.
I just refuse to eat boiled hot dogs. I don't know what my problem is.
It doesn't taste as good, but you know how I am with time, right? Everything's time for me. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I just say 15 minutes, and in those 15 minutes, I can do whatever. I always say work out, but I guess
that's true.
Whatever, sleep more, work out more, do something more productive. But it also depends because certain things I have to have, like I won't microwave. Microwave's a whole different category. I would rather put things in the oven than microwave. That's what I'm saying.
I prefer to be like the British on the microwave. I don't recognize the microwave as a cooking thing.
And like a frozen pizza or something, I would never put that in the microwave. So even if it's 4 minutes in the microwave and it's 20 minutes in the oven, I'll pick oven. So I do have like a certain, I guess I have like standards.
Says the woman who introduced me to lean cuisine. Which
when we were like 18.
Every time I smell it in the break room, I know, but I walk by the break room at work and I smell people's lean cuisine and it just takes me right back to you teaching me all about lean cuisine and how to poke the plastic at the top with a knife and how to turn it and everything. And I'm like, how could I not do that on my own? Why?
Some people have a harder time following instructions for a microwave frozen meal than like actual gourmet cooking.
That's so funny. I guess that describes me because my cooking's actually fine, but I will ruin some lean cuisines.
All right, we'll leave the lean cuisine to the experts, all right?
All right, that sounds good. And as always, to our listeners, thanks for listening.